Hi guys, welcome to Others Perspective. Today our topic for the day is the recently passed ordinance on unregulated deposit schemes. So, before going into the technicalities of this ordinance, let's understand what is this actually. What is unregulated deposit scheme? So, what is it? It is in a layman language called as Ponzi schemes or the chit fund schemes. Okay, prize money schemes. Okay, so we all must be aware of the dialogue which Akshay Kumar has used in Fir Hera Fairy movie, and that is 21 दिन में पैसे डबल. So with Rajpal Yadav. Yeah. So 21 दिन में पैसे डबल. Okay. So these kind of schemes, right? These schemes are unregulated. Do you think Akshay Kumar has taken any registration or something? No, right? But he was assuring these kinds of returns to his depositor, and you will be surprised by knowing that these schemes are prevailing in India, and they and the depositors and the people are going for those schemes. We have a very popular scheme, that is the Sharda Group's scandal, which took place in early 2013 or 2011. Okay, where what they how they lure the depositors by they attract the depositor by uh, providing returns of 40%, 30%, like that, or doubling the amount. So these are those schemes, and we are aware of other thing, that is the BC, the chit funds. BC is generally taken over in a small group of individuals which deposit the money, and by lot they pick the name and take the money. Okay, so these are schemes. Do you think they are registered with some authority? No, right? So there is high risk of on the hard-earned money which has been put by the depositors. Okay, and there have been lots of cases which states that these money has been duped, and the recent statistics says that as per 2014-15, sorry, 15-16, 16-17, 17-18, 47, 27 and 63 cases of the companies are investigated by SFIO, Serious Fraud Investigation Officer, in this regard, for because they were investigating whether these companies, 47, 27 and 63 companies respectively, were indulging in any unregulated deposit scheme. So this is the kind of importance which this scheme have, and because of which the ordinance came. Okay, so now we know what is Ponzi scheme. 21 दिन में पैसे डबल. So that won't work, that won't happen. So to eliminate all those schemes, the ordinance came. The ordinance, the first line of the ordinance states that it is to protect the interest of depositors and to eliminate the unregulated deposit schemes. Okay, and this ordinance states that all the unregulated schemes stand banned from the date of ordinance. So now if you are investing in any kind of this unregulated scheme, then that is banned now. You even if the person run away, you cannot go for a complaint. Okay, because that is banned. So beware, don't invest your money in this unregulated schemes. Okay, now we have understood what is this. Now we will get into a technical point of the ordinance, that is, it has a very important definition, which is what is a deposit. Because the deposit scheme, it is a deposit scheme, so we should know what is a deposit, what is not a deposit. Okay, so what is a deposit we will learn later, what is not a deposit we will learn in this video, where, see, I will state all the points with examples. Okay, so if I receive any money from bank or from public financial institution, okay, public notified by central government, or I receive any amount from appropriate authority, government authority, and other government and the government authority is providing guarantee on such amount. I mean, I'm accepting an amount from X, and state government of, say I live in Chhattisgarh, the state government of Chhattisgarh is giving the guarantee to such person on that money which I have received, or I'm receiving the international money from the international as per the FEMA rules. Do you think these are Ponzi schemes? No, no. See, I am receiving money from the bank. What do you think? The bank is giving me money and I'll run away with that money. The bank is accepting a doubling of its income. No, right? So the amount received from these four institutions are not unregulated. These are regulated institutions. Okay, and amount received from these institutions are not deposit. Okay, so going further, the next point is capital contribution by the partners in a firm. So if I go back to the Akshay Kumar's example, do you think he was making an agreement with Rajpal Yadav and asking Rajpal Yadav to contribute capital? No, right? So in a partnership arrangement, there is a documentary proof of the existence of such firm. So in that cases, that is not the way how Ponzi schemes happen. So the capital contributed by the partner is also not a deposit. Okay, so we have understood amount received in bank, PFI, government guaranteed, foreign bank, foreign government, not a deposit. Capital contribution by the partner, not a deposit. Next point, the amount received by the amount received by the relative of the partner. See, suppose I have a firm, I have a partner, and the loan is received from the relative of that partner. That is also not a deposit. Okay, so but however, I must tell you that loan received from the partner will be termed as deposit. So I'm looking for the answers for this difference, but I haven't come through. If you know about this, please comment on this. Okay, I repeat, the partner contributes, the partner gives loan to the firm, that is a deposit. However, the relative of the partner gives loan to the firm, that is not a deposit. Okay, so that is a bit controversy. I will check into that and I'll update you for sure. Okay, so the next point is loan from a relative in case of individual. Okay, so before I move to the next point, what is relative? Who is relative? In this ordinance, it states the relative as per Companies Act will be relative as per this in this ordinance. So if I go to the Companies Act, the definition of relative says you are a member of HUF or your spouse, that is the husband and wife. So the scope of relative is not as per as wide as Income Tax Act. It is very narrow, and that is husband and wife, HUF partners, HUF members. Okay, so if I accept any loan from my relative, that is HUF member or my spouse, then that is not a deposit. If I accept this money from any person other than these, then that will be a deposit. Okay, so I was referring to the BC example where the group of individuals gather and deposits. So they are not relatives, nor they are HUF members. Okay, so they are not spouses or nor they HUF members. So that will be treated as deposit in this unregulated scheme. Okay, and if the person runs away, if the deposit taker runs away, you cannot do anything because that is banned from the effective date of this ordinance. Okay, so any loan received from the relative is not a deposit. Other than relative is a deposit. Okay. The next point is the credit period. See, it's a general business transaction. Suppose I am dealing in furniture business and I purchase from the my wholesaler, and the wholesaler gives me credit period of say 60 days. So what he's saying that I am having his money for 60 days. Does it amounts to deposit? No, right? Because that's a business transaction. I am his trade payables. So that is not a deposit as per this ordinance. Okay. So these are not deposits. Even if these things happen, these are not covered under this ordinance. That is what I am trying to tell by explaining you the term deposit. Okay. So next point is asset reconstruction. Amount received by the asset reconstruction company. See what asset reconstruction company is. It is a special purpose vehicle in which the amount is put in by the participants, and by that amount it purchases the assets. So if this asset reconstruction company receives any amount, that is also not termed as a deposit and will be out of the purview of this ordinance, because the asset reconstruction company itself is registered. Okay, it is regulated by some or the other authority. Okay, and in this ordinance we are talking about only unregulated uh, uh, persons or unregulated sector. The next is the political party. See, if the political party receives any deposit, any amount from its donators, that will also not be termed as deposit. Okay, so because they are also governed by People's Representative Act, so that is also out of purview of deposit. Self-help groups. We know that we live in a society, and for each society there is a fund, right, for the welfare of such society, and every member of that society contributes. And what that fund do, that fund uses that money for the welfare of the apartment or the society. So the acceptance of the money by that fund, that is RWA, is not a deposit, and that will not be covered under deposit scheme, provided that the that accepts the money, means the subscription by the members is subject to some ceiling limit and authorized by state government of that territory. Okay, and we have business connection receipts. So what business connection is, say I am a purchaser. What I do, I purchase from my wholesaler or whatever be the person. What he asked me to make the payment, advance payment, part payment or full payment for such sale or service. If suppose I made payment of 1 lakh, he gave me service, no issue. Suppose I give payment of 1 lakh and he does not provide any service or provide me this or give me the goods, then what should happen? The amount should be refunded. The ordinance says if the amount is to be refunded and it is refunded, then that is not a deposit. However, if such party runs away with that money, okay, and does not pay you back, and that is refundable because that service or sale has not taken place, and that is deposit. Okay, that will fall under the unregulated deposit scheme. Okay, so that's the first point under business connection receipt. Second is adjustable amount. That is, suppose I am a person, I want to buy a property. I went to a builder. I go to a builder, and the property is worth of 75 lakhs. He asked me to deposit 5 lakhs. I gave him 5 lakhs. At this time of sale, after construction, if he asked me what is the sale value, that is 75 lakhs. How much I gave? I gave him 5 lakhs. How much should he ask? He should ask 70 lakhs, because of the arrangement that the initial amount is adjustable towards the full consideration, right? If that is the case, then that 5 lakhs is not a deposit in his hand. However, if that 5 lakhs is not adjustable to the full sale consideration, that is after the construction, if he asks me 75 lakhs, then that 5 lakhs will be treated as deposit, and that is also unregulated, because he is not regulated under any act to take deposit, to take such money from me. Okay, so that is unregulated deposit scheme. Okay, and that is a deposit. Third is security deposit or dealership deposit. We know it is a normal business transaction where for the performance of the contract we ask the party to deposit some money as a security, so that we will, after the completion, we will repay it. So in the hands of recipient, that is also not a deposit. The other person cannot claim that I am a deposit taker and I am running an unregulated deposit scheme. That cannot be happening. The fourth is the capital goods advance. We know the capital goods take a long time for manufacturing, and the manufacturer generally asks for a advance payment for their liquidity. So on such advances, those advances received by the manufacturers are also not covered as deposits. Okay, so we have learned in this video what is Ponzi scheme and what are not deposits. Okay, so these are not deposits. Since the volume of the information of this ordinance is huge, I am making this video in two parts. In the other part, we will discuss the banning of the provision, section 3, 4, 5, other important sections, and the punishment. Okay, so for this as of this video is concerned, we have learned Ponzi scheme and what is not a deposit, what is a deposit, and I hope we have understood why this ordinance came. Thank you for watching. Do watch my other part as well. Thank you.